Well, greetings, Scarlet City Church family, friends, and everybody tuning in. I want to take just a few minutes and share about the new initiative that we started this past weekend. This past Sunday on our digital worship gathering, I shared, and then Kate Likely, our equipping ministry director, talked about our new theme for this season, and that's creating space for God, and one of the ways in which we seek to accomplish that. Now, I want to, right now, just in a few minutes, peel back the layers behind why we're doing this initiative and invite you into something in this season. You know, my role as a pastor and the role of our church is to help you flourish. We want you to experience the healing and wholeness and joy and genuine peace that the gospel of Jesus Christ can bring in your life. Now, this is flourishing independent of our circumstances. You know, 2020 was a hard year for many in the world. The pandemic has brought not only a virus and physical ailments, but the economic, relational, and even just emotional trauma and pain that accompanies it. And many of us feel that on multiple levels. And so there's this hope for many of us that 2021 will be different. Now, I hope so. I hope 2020 is very different than 2020, but none of us are owed that. Some this year, some watching this right now, this year will bring some circumstances that are very, very hard, and ones that could not have been envisioned at the beginning of January this year. But you see, independent of our circumstances, the gospel can bring a hope and joy and genuine flourishing that happens irregardless of the external events of our life. And that is my role, as a pastor, as a minister of the gospel, my goal is to help you experience and walk in that flourishing. Now, there's a host of things I and our church seeks to do in order to see that realized. But at the end of the day, you know, if you talk to anybody in a helping profession, their ultimate goal in order to help someone flourish, if it's a physician to help someone flourish physically, if it's a counselor or therapist to help someone flourish emotionally, if it's a financial advisor to help someone flourish fiscally, if this is a teacher in a school to help someone flourish intellectually. Ultimately, if you talk to any good physician, counselor, financial advisor, teacher, they want people. Their hope is that people will take ownership and responsibility for their own flourishing, to get to a place where, you know, the physician can't make all the choices for your physical health. They can make prescriptions and they can give advice and they can treat symptoms, but ultimately, we are the ones that must be empowered and entrusted to seek that flourishing. The same with a therapist and counselor. The same with the financial advisor. I'm the one who's spending my money, and I must take responsibility to spend it in wise and prudent ways. The same with teachers. A good teacher wants their student to get to a place where they actually enjoy learning and they take ownership for it on their own behalf. Those are the best teachers. They're the ones that make learning fun and bring us to a place where we want to read, we want to learn on our own initiative. And that's my role as a pastor, to help you, to let you know that you are strong and you are able to create space in your life for God, and to empower and encourage and sometimes push you and challenge you to do just that. And so in this season, we are seeking as a church to create space for God. I want to call you, invite you, and challenge you to put some time on your calendar each week for time alone with God. This can be I'm encouraging you to make it 30 to 60 minutes in one session. If it needs to be less than that, that's fine. There's no formula here. But I want to challenge you to create some space, some time alone with God. Now, in the email that accompanies this video, we have some resources from Kate Likely, some podcasts and books and practices for time alone with God. You know, some of you, this is nothing new. This is already a habit in your life. And if that's where you're at, man, keep going. Keep going. For others, this might feel intimidating. Maybe you've never practiced time alone with God, and just the sheer, it's like, what do I do? It can feel like riding a bike. Like, what is there the right way? What are the rules? Others, maybe you've tried to bring these habits about in the past, but they always seem to kind of fall off. If you're in any one of those camps, I have good news for you. You're not alone. You know, as a pastor, it's not often my natural inclination to just spend time alone with God. I'm much better at doing things for God. I'm much better about reading and studying about God than I am about just the practice of creating space for prayer and reflection and time with Him. But what I have found in my life is that when I prioritize this and practice it, it fosters a stronger awareness of the grace and mercy and beauty of Jesus Christ. And it ministers to me on a soul level. And I never leave seasons of prioritizing time alone with God regretting it. Wherever you're at on the spectrum, I want to invite you to join us to make some space for God to work in your life. And to do that by putting time on your calendar to be alone with Him. If you have questions, there's no silly question. Email me. There'd be nothing I would love more than to dialogue with you about this. And you're going to be hearing from people in the congregation. Each week, over the next 6 weeks, we're going to have someone share a testimonial on our online worship gathering about their time alone with God. Because after all, this is something we're in together. And the beautiful thing is there's diverse practices and expressions of it. I hope your new year's starting well, and I'm excited to see what God's going to do in our church in the days ahead. God bless you.